Sometimes a school project comes along that just completely changes how you see things. Well, today, we're diving into one just like that, an assignment to design a dream house that's not just stunning, but actually good for the planet. We're going to use it as our blueprint for a greener future. It's a pretty big question, right? It takes something so personal, our idea of a perfect home, and connects it to this massive global challenge we're all facing. So, yeah, let's really explore that.
So, we're going to break down exactly how you can imagine, design, and even describe your own eco-friendly space. We're taking this creative assignment and turning it into a real, hands-on guide for anyone who's into sustainable design. Let's start by laying the foundation.
All right, so every great project needs a solid foundation. Before we even think about putting up walls or picking out furniture, we've got to get a handle on the core concepts that make a house truly green. So here are the key building blocks. Think about it. Solar panels up on the roof, just soaking up the sun and generating clean energy. Imagine these clever systems that catch rainwater so you're not wasting a drop. And of course, huge windows that let natural light just flood in so you're not flipping on switches all day. You start to see the pattern here, right? It's all about working with nature, not fighting against it. And at the heart of all this is one key term: eco-friendly. The source material gives us the Spanish amigable con el medio ambiente, and I love that because it literally means friendly with the environment. And honestly, that's the perfect way to think about it, a home that's a friend to the planet. And you can see right here that these ideas are totally global. Whether you call them solar panels or paneles solares, the mission is exactly the same. This isn't just some local chat, it's a worldwide movement towards smarter, better living. Okay, so we've got the big ideas down. Now, how do we turn that into an actual blueprint? Well, every creative project needs a few rules to keep things on track, and this one's no different. So here are the ground rules for the project. First, you're going to design a home with about 6 to 8 different spaces. Then, you'll furnish each of those rooms with 5 objects. And then, and this is the important part, you're going to use specific language to describe exactly where everything goes. It's a really cool mix of being creative and being precise. And here's a really interesting little twist built into the rules. You have to use at least 10 different prepositions. Now, this isn't just to make it tricky. It actually forces you to think really carefully about how things are arranged in your space, pushing you to describe it with a ton of variety and detail. It's a fun challenge. Look, having an amazing design in your head is one thing, but you've got to be able to communicate it, right? So this next part is all about the language, the tools you need to make your eco-friendly house come alive for somebody else. To make sure your description is crystal clear, it all starts with some super simple grammar. You use there is when you're talking about one thing, there is a sofa. And you use there are for more than one thing, like there are 3 bedrooms. Nailing this is really the foundation for describing your space well. And here it is, your toolkit for hitting that 10 preposition challenge. These little words are so powerful. They don't just tell you where things are, they're actually building a mental map of the entire space for your listener. Is that table next to the window or is it between the chairs? It makes a huge difference. So let's see how it all comes together. This example from the source is just perfect. It kicks off with the big picture, modern and eco-friendly, and then it zooms right in, using our grammar rules and that preposition toolkit to paint a super clear picture. There are solar panels on the roof. The kitchen is next to the living room. See, it's simple, it's clear, and it just works. Okay, let's try building a description ourselves, piece by piece, just like you would for the assignment. We'll start with the space, the kitchen. All right, what's in our kitchen? Let's add some life to it. We've got plants. And since plants is plural, we follow our rule. There are plants. And now for the final step. We give them a location from our toolkit. Where are they? There are plants above the table. And boom, instantly you can see it in your head. That's the power of putting these simple pieces together. So, you've done all the hard work. You've done the research, you've designed the space, you've written the perfect description. The last step is sharing that vision. So let's talk about how you can present your masterpiece. And the assignment gives you some really cool creative options here. You could design a beautiful detailed infographic that lays it all out visually, or you could build a more classic presentation. You could even produce a short video, like a minute or two, where you personally give a tour of your dream eco-home. How cool is that? But, no matter which format you end up choosing, the goal is always the same. You're not just listing off a bunch of features, you're telling the story of your house by mixing those awesome visuals with clear, descriptive language. And that really brings us to the end of this blueprint. Yeah, it all started as a school assignment, but these principles apply to anyone who's just thinking about a better way to live. So that leaves just one last question for you to chew on. Solar panels, a rainwater system, a huge garden. What's the very first green feature you'd build into your own dream house?